girlies, and welcome back to the pod. Today we're talking all things goals, working out, and why it's important to be alone. And this is pretty much the I guess personal life section of the Get My Life Together series. Personal, not as in we're getting deep today, as in related to people's everyday life type things. So I don't know if personal is the best word, but this is the second episode in the Get My Life Together series. Last week was a Q&A, which kind of, I guess, interrupted the series, which was kind of funny because I only had one episode. As you can tell, I'm really good at this. But yeah, so today we're talking all about goals, working out, being alone, etc. This week has been a lot, but also at the same time, not a lot. I'm graduating tomorrow, which is exciting. And I've had a bunch of senior activities this past week. And I've also been pretty much watching Tilly all day because my parents are out of town. So that's been exciting. I don't know where she is at the moment, but that's a problem for later. Also, I've been reading the fourth book of From Blood and Ash, and it's just I don't know. The first book was cringy, but I could get through it, and I was like, okay, this is good. And progressively, I think it's gotten worse. I don't know. It's I want to like it. I want to like it so bad. But I really just hate it. I don't like it at all. And it's taken me so long to finish. And there are other books I want to read. But I just want to know what happens. But it's just gotten so stupid at this point. It feels like a reality TV show. And not in a good way. So, don't recommend that. But yeah. Make sure you're following me at the Girly Girl Podcast on Instagram and TikTok if you want to see more from me throughout the week. Exciting times. Also make sure you leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And let's just get into it. So first, let's chat all about goals. So recently, over the past few weeks, I've been doing a lot of, I guess, research type work for the podcast, just so I can learn new things, so I can share new information. I talked about this in the intro to the Get My Life Together era series episode. But for goals, it's important to change your mindset around goals. Because I feel like people just think, or I guess a goal is something that you're striving for, you're just trying to attain, reach a certain point. I'm trying to think of a goal. Oh, I have a goal. I want to read 60 books this year in 2022. And according to my Goodreads, I'm 3 books behind, so that's not stressing me out at all. No, sarcastic. It does stress me out. But anyway, so for example, that's a goal. But the things about goals is they're often, you don't really go through with it. Cause let's use the example of New Year's resolutions, right? Because people do their New Year's resolutions, if you make any, until around mid-March. And once it hits mid-March, you're kind of done, okay? Because you've been trying to do this for a while, but you're not feeling it anymore, so you just stop. Goal disappeared. You wanted to work out more? Not anymore. You worked out in January, February, maybe part of March. But after that, what are you going to do for the rest of the year? How are you going to keep up this goal? And this is where the idea of systems comes in, okay? Because systems are more important than goals. A system is what you do pretty much to be more consistent at your goal. It's pretty much the steps to achieving your goal. It's by making this goal kind of into a habit. So for me, with the book example, I want to read 60 books this year. My system would be reading every night before I go to bed. And this makes the goal more manageable and more attainable, and also more realistic that it's actually going to happen and that you're actually going to meet the goals that you want to achieve, which is a win-win. So, systems. How can these help us with goals, with habits? Systems make your habit easier because you're bringing things down to more bite-sized pieces. So if you're someone who wants to work out more, instead of being like, okay, I'm going to start working out 7 days a week, or 7 days a week, like all day for like 3 hours a day. Like, that's not realistic. Maybe you can do that for a week, or maybe you're a beast and can do it for 2. But like at that point, it's not realistic and it's not manageable, and you're going to get burnt out. So the idea of systems is you make it into more manageable. And also, you can make a habit easier by having what you need available. Therefore, you're having what you need close to you. So for me, for reading books, I have books / my Kindle on my bedside table. This is easy for me to grab. So when I'm sitting in bed, instead of reaching for my phone, I can grab my Kindle because my Kindle is closer to me than my phone. And overall, I'm lazy. If you're getting anything from this episode, it's that I'm lazy. And I'm assuming you're lazy too. And so that's why we're trying to make our habits easier. Because as people, we're inherently lazy. Okay, we're going to do the easiest option. And that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Because what if your easiest option is just what you're making available? So just make whatever habit you want to have more available. Maybe you want to walk every morning. Okay, the night before, set out clothes you're going to walk in, set out your shoes. Make it so easy that you can't convince yourself out of what you want to do. Because your mind will play tricks on you, and you'll find a way to actually get out of something that you probably had intentions of doing, but now you're thinking, that's a lot of work. I don't know if I necessarily want to do that anymore. But the thing is, you have to push yourself through that part. And kind of going off that, it's important to realize that your life isn't just magically going to change by implementing good habits, okay? You're not going to wake up one morning and immediately like have that girl aesthetic, which I think we can all agree is like extremely unrealistic. That's just not going to happen. So what you need to realize is that you will be gaining like small wins over time, but those wins are going to build until you'll get to a point where you'll realize, oh my God, look what I've just done. I've accomplished so much. I've come so far from where I originally started. But when you're kind of just like in the middle of everything, just going through all the actions, it doesn't feel like you've made any changes. It doesn't feel like you're improving. And I think something which is kind of similar to this, like small wins over time. If you're someone who's suffered with acne, okay, and you just feel like your skin isn't getting better, it looks the same every day, it feels like it's getting worse. This is kind of, I feel like, what this feels like. Because I know for me, I went on Accutane in 7th grade, and I would take pictures of my skin over time. I was supposed to do it every day. I think I did it like every few weeks because again, lazy. But I would take these pictures of my skin, and every time I did it, like I wouldn't notice any difference. I would be like, okay, the medicine's not working. My skin isn't changing. It still looks bad. I still have acne scars. My face is still breaking out. Why does it look like it's getting worse? But then if you look through all the photos, you can see where you started to how much your skin has improved. But it's kind of hard to realize that in the moment because you're looking at yourself every day. You're with yourself all day, every day. So you're not going to notice the smallest little shifts. You will only notice when something feels like a big win, when you finally can sit back and realize, wow, I've accomplished a lot. But it's all about the small wins building over time. So don't put pressure on yourself to get something done immediately, to immediately become a master chef, immediately become some workout queen or king. Like, that's not realistic. It takes time, and that can be frustrating, especially if you're not a very patient person and you have high expectations for yourself. This can be extremely frustrating. But this is when you need to push through something called the Valley of Disappointment. The Valley of Disappointment, I think, was talked about in the book Atomic Habits, but I've seen people talk about it on YouTube videos as well. But that's pretty much when you're not getting the results you want. So when your expectations of yourself aren't meeting up with the reality, and there's like this valley of disappointment, this area or this period in time when you feel like nothing is going your way, when you feel like you're just not where you should be. And that's when people get frustrated, and when people stop their habits, and when habits die. Okay, this is where habits die. But that's why you need to push through this valley of disappointment and just keep going. Even if you're disappointed, even if you're not reaching the goals that you're making, any progress is still progress. And yeah, it's true. You're going to have some off days. Things aren't going to always be perfect, but you need to push through this area, because once you do, your habit will be easier to maintain. For example, I remember when I started more consistently reading. This was, I think, in like summer of 2020, maybe. And it was so hard for me to get back into reading because I started off with this book and it was so slow and it was so long and it was so awful and I just couldn't get into reading. But the thing was, I wanted to. So every day I would just read a little bit, whether that was like 5 pages or if it was 20, because I really could not get through this book. But once I kept doing that every day, every night before I went to bed, it became a habit. And it would be something that I had incorporated into my schedule, and it was something that I could look forward to. So then I pushed through, the valley of disappointment, and here I am, and I can easily keep up this habit 2 years later, reading every day. And I think that's pretty cool. So you just got to push through, and it'll become a habit, and you'll feel better overall. So push through the valley of disappointment. Growing up, y'all, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid. But I had to give it up because I realized that it was full of sugar and junk that I really shouldn't be eating. But Magic Spoon is different. Magic Spoon has a variety pack with 4 flavors that are cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. This pack has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs. That's only 140 calories a serving. Magic Spoon is also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. It tastes exactly like regular cereal from your childhood, but it is super nutritious and good for you. It's delicious but super healthy cereal that brings joy to your mornings or that time when you have a 12 a.m. snack. I know we all have been there. If you want to try out Magic Spoon, go to magicspoon.com/girlygirl to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use my promo code GirlyGirl at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/girlygirl. Girly Girl is one word, and use code GirlyGirl, again, one word, to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. You can also find the links in the code in the description of this episode. Enjoy, y'all. Okay, now to talk about something that I have struggled with. I feel like we all know where this is going, maybe, or I know where it's going, obviously. Working out, okay? My life nemesis. I don't know what it is with me, but I have never liked working out. I know people that genuinely like it, or they like just how they feel after they work out. But I've never been about that, okay? I don't understand. Like, I can work out and then people will be like, "Oh, I feel so much better about myself after." No, I feel like I'm literally gonna vom. So no, thank you. Working out and I have not had a good relationship. Probably since freshman and sophomore year, I worked out a lot because I played volleyball and we would do all these exercises. We had to run, did a bunch of like weight lifting stuff, practice jumping a lot. I could jump really high, I will say. And did a lot of butt exercises, I'll say, or like stuff for your lower back. Anyway, so I was looking good freshman and sophomore year, but the thing was, I wasn't playing volleyball because I liked it. I was playing volleyball and doing these workouts because my mother forced me because she said I needed exercise and needed to participate in a school thing, which I do appreciate. But because of that, I never fully really loved volleyball or working out, and I feel like that kind of just started a bad relationship. And then later, over the past 2 years, I've worked out very inconsistently. Like, I like going on hikes. I'll hike. I'll do outdoorsy girl things, okay? But I cannot convince myself to go into a gym. I cannot run around a track. Like, if no one's chasing me, why am I running? Okay? So I don't understand that. I cannot convince myself to run on a treadmill. Again, I'm not running to something. I'm not running from anybody. And I've tried the cycle classes. And I thought, okay, I'll really like those because I like biking. No. Okay, I have never wanted to die more in my entire life than I did when I was at a cycle class. That might have been the worst, like, hour of my life regards to working out. It's just horrible because they have a mirror. You're in a dark room, but you can see everybody. And it's a mirror, and they're yelling at you. And also, there's a scoreboard. You can see who's winning. You know who got, like, pretty much last? Me. It was me, because I thought I was going to throw up. I was also having an asthma attack. I was also extremely out of shape, and I was not doing well. And I went with my sister, who's in great shape because she does sports all the time. And I went with my other friend who goes to these cycle classes all the time. And she was great. So I was just dying, sitting in between them. And they just kept looking at me. I was like, y'all, I'm not doing well. So cycle classes, no. But I think I found something that is at least manageable, I guess, for me to do for working out. Because if you couldn't get this from what I've been saying, my biggest problem with working out is that all the workouts that I've done, I've not found them to be enjoyable at all, or something that I would like to keep up. Like, the only things I have liked is like a Zumba type thing, yoga, hiking. And now recently I've been going on hot girl walks. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of this. If you haven't, you're living under a rock. But hot girl walk is like phenomenon on TikTok where if you like go walking, you like go with your headphones and it's like solves all your life problems. That part hasn't happened to me. I have been going on walks with my mom and with my dog Tilly, and I've been trying to do that more. Been walking around the Arboretum. I walked Tilly this morning. that wasn't like a hot girl walk. I'm literally in pajamas. That was more like I had to because she's a dog type walk. But I've been trying to just be active more, or not sit and lay around as much, because also this is kind of embarrassing. Like a month ago, maybe, or less than a month, or more, I don't know, I'm really bad at time. We'll just say in the past few months, I recently purchased this weighted stuffed animal. Okay, it's a unicorn. It was from the children's section in Target. I saw it on TikTok, and I'm really bad. Like, if anything is marketed to me in any way, I will go out of my way and buy it. And that's a bad habit I have. But anyway, so I saw it on TikTok and was like, oh my God, I need this. Because, I don't know, it's like holding a baby, but it doesn't smell like a baby or cry, and it's great. So when I first got it, I was like laying in my bed. I had this weighted, maybe 3-pound stuffed animal in my lap, and I would just like be laying down watching Netflix. And I remember one day I laid down maybe for like over an hour with this stuffed animal in my lap, and I tried to get up, and I literally collapsed on the floor. Like, my legs genuinely gave out. The areas around my kneecaps had fallen asleep, and I had to crawl on the floor because my legs would not work. It was the weirdest experience. I felt like I was paralyzed. And then I called my dad to ask if it was possible for someone just to be paralyzed from doing nothing, and he was like, "You're crazy." I was like, "Okay, maybe a little." And then the funniest part was that it happened again. How does someone's legs give out twice? Like, in the span of like a week. Okay, so that happened to me, and I realized, maybe I should be working out. Also, because I think I've told this part to y'all, but my grandma has been working out, and she's like 80 years old. And I was like, if an 80-year-old woman can be working out, why can't I? Like, I'm 18. I should be able to, like, I don't know, exercise and not like die, right? So that's been like my motivation. But I feel like I haven't been very good at that. I haven't been very consistent. But I'm working on it. Again, trying to think about what we've learned about habits. I need to make systems. But I think over the summer I found a good way to like walk more. And here's my idea. So I recently have learned about the app WAG. This is not sponsored, by the way. This is just like something that I've heard about. The WAG dog walker app. Okay, pretty much you get paid to walk other people's dogs. Pretty much I'm getting paid to exercise, okay? And I need motivation. And what's the best motivation, you may ask? Money, okay? Walking for money. So I think the only way I might be able to walk is that if I do this app and like walk people's dogs, at least maybe like a few times a day. This girl on TikTok is doing this series where she's been like purposely picking the most aggressive dogs on the app, and one of them literally pulled her across the sidewalk, and she had like a hole in her knee. It looked disgusting. But that didn't stop me, okay? I'm still thinking about it. And I told my sister, Hadley, to do it. So we might be doing it together. And then you can make extra, like, money. And then you're getting some sort of exercise. I also want to go hiking more. But I'm going to be, like, I don't know. I'm going to be out of town a lot. And I've wanted to go hiking the past 2 weekends. But last weekend, it literally rained on like Saturday and Sunday / it was like 90 degrees and humid AF and disgusting. And then this weekend I have graduation and a bunch of grad parties to go to. So can't really do it this weekend, and then I'm going out of town. So like, I don't know. We'll see what actually happens. But if you're trying to get motivation to work out, just know, and you're struggling, just know, me too, girl. Okay, me too. But it's important to work out. And I've realized that because when I exercise, on the days that it happens, even if it's just going for a walk, if it's not like something intense, like I feel better, I feel more awake, And then you're also getting into better shape. So it's like healthy and good for you. So if you're struggling, I'm struggling too. And if you're someone who's not struggling, send me your tips for working out because it has been a struggle and I would love, love, love to be better. Okay. Okay, next thing we're chatting about in the Get My Life Together era episode of this series is about being alone. Okay? Spending time by yourself and how you can kind of be comfortable being by yourself. The first thing, you're like, Carmen, why do I ever need to do things by myself? And if you're thinking that, no matter how unrealistic it is, just know I've had that same exact thought, okay? When I was a freshman in high school, I would think, why would I ever need to do anything by myself? I have someone who can drive me. I have my siblings. I have friends. Why would I ever need to do something by myself, right? And that just genuinely baffled me about why my mom would always be like, Carmen, you're gonna need to be able to do things by yourself. You're gonna need to be able to go places by yourself. I was like, I'm not going anywhere by myself. And I didn't. Okay. I didn't go anywhere by myself, I don't think, until sophomore year when I went to the pool. Okay. And that was traumatic. I think I talked about that in some episode. I don't remember. But the thing about being alone is, and why it's important, is that everyone is running on different schedules. Everyone has different things going on. And it's not always realistic to think that someone is going to be there when you need someone to be there. Because people have their own lives. People are running on their own schedules. So you need to know how to do things by yourself. You need to be able to go places by yourself, do things by yourself instead of waiting for someone else or avoiding things because you don't want people to wonder, oh my God, why is that girl or guy sitting by themselves? That's so embarrassing, right? But the thing is that no one is wondering why you're alone. Maybe for a few seconds, someone might look at you, if you're sitting in a restaurant and it's oh, that person's sitting by themselves. Or, oh, are they waiting for anyone? And then a little later, that person might realize you're oh, why do I care? You know? Because you're people have their own lives. You don't know. Also, taking yourself out on a date, fun. And just being by yourself, I think, is nice. But I feel a lot of people don't want to be alone just because they wonder what people are going to think of them in public. But I feel everyone is so involved in their own lives that they don't really notice that you're alone, or they don't care. People have bigger things going on than wondering why some person is eating dinner by themselves or is shopping by themselves. I feel the only time I've ever thought, oh, that's so sad when someone is alone is that, whenever I see an old person sitting by themselves, because then I'm oh my God, did their husband, wife, whoever they would normally go out with die? That's really sad, okay? But you're not an old person whose husband, wife died, okay? Assuming you're just a teenager, you're in your 20s, whatever. So I feel it's fine, and you shouldn't be worried what people are gonna think of you being by yourself, because genuinely no one cares. Also, it's important to realize that alone time can be very healing. It's a good time to process things, just kind of get your emotions in check, and also just bring yourself a sense of peace. I feel because if you think about it, the person you're going to be with the most in your life is yourself. So you need to be feel comfortable with yourself. Alone time can be healing, but it's still necessary to be socializing, to be with people. The thing about having your alone time isn't that you're always by yourself, you're always not seeing anyone, because that'll make you depressed and that'll make you sad, and then you're gonna be oh, why does no one want to be my friend? Why does no one like me? And it's because you're by yourself all the time and maybe you don't feel approachable, or maybe people think, oh, she just wants to be by herself. Like, I don't want to be with her. But maybe that's not true. So it's important to socialize, but also give yourself the space to be by yourself and push yourself to do things alone. Whether that's just like going to the grocery store by yourself or getting takeout, like you can do easy things, or just like walking at an arboretum by yourself or walking around the neighborhood. Like, you can do small things and those are still beneficial, but I think it's important just to like spend time and be alone with your thoughts, especially if you're someone who's more extroverted. I feel like it's easy just to keep like going and being with people all the time, and then you don't really comprehend like your emotions or how you're actually feeling because you're always with people, you're always socializing, and that's where you feel your best. So whether you're an extroverted person or an introverted person, alone time is still important, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's something you don't necessarily want to be doing. I feel like alone time can still be beneficial for everybody, no matter if you're someone who loves socializing or someone who needs to take a step back. Also, you need to force yourself to do uncomfortable things. Because personally for me, I feel very uncomfortable like going out and doing things by myself. Even if that's just like going to the grocery store, I don't know, it just like makes me really anxious. Or like the post office. I've talked about this before. I hate the post office. Like, it makes me so anxious. But I'll go into the post office by myself. Will I be literally like shitting my pants? Yes. Okay. But I do it because sometimes you need to force yourself to do uncomfortable things, and you can't always be waiting for someone to drive you or someone to take you somewhere or for a friend to want to go with you, because that's not going to happen. Learn to do things by yourself. Just try this week, make it your goal to do one thing by yourself. Go for a walk by yourself. Go for a run. If you have a car, drive somewhere, get lunch by yourself, go to the grocery store by yourself. You can do like a small little thing, and I feel like that'll be beneficial overall. Yeah, okay. So those were all my, I guess, topics I wanted to talk about for the episode of the Get My Life Together era series, which was kind of just like a random jumble of things. When I was planning my episodes out, like a month ago or something, somehow I had thought these like went together, and I just am not understanding like the umbrella that I put them under. But that's okay. It's just random advice, getting your life together. We're still moving along, chugging along with the series. So that's exciting. But stay tuned for more Get My Life Together era episodes. The next few episodes over like end of May, and then through June are pretty much all in this series. So everyone get hype. And make sure you're following me at the Girly Girl Podcast. Leave a rating and review. And check out Magic Spoon cereal. Y'all, I will say the boxes are very cute. And the cereal, genuinely, 10 out of 10. Not gonna lie. But I will say, even if you're not a cereal person, literally just buy it for the box. Because you could do a really cute photo shoot with the boxes. Like, they are genuinely adorable. But I hope y'all have an amazing week. I'm graduating tomorrow, class of 2022. If you graduated recently or are graduating recently, congrats. Proud of you. So, yeah. Love y'all. Bye.